financially. But first, Robert and I don't want to waste your time. So let's make sure you're in the right place. This sounds like you. If you're here today, you're a hardworking person who's tired of trading your time for dollars. And you want to find a way to add passive income streams to build real wealth. You're tired of seeing so much of your paycheck disappear to taxes instead of helping you build a future for yourself and your family. You want more control, not just of your finances, but control over your ability to live life on your terms. You want to acquire wealth-building assets so you can get to the next level. However, the problem is you're not sure how to find the money to do it. Or maybe you do have at least some money you can invest, but you're not sure how to get started and you don't want to make a mistake. Or maybe you've had a little bit of success, but you haven't learned how to do it consistently and maximize your monthly cash flow. You're dealing with the fear and uncertainty we all encounter when trying to do something different. You might be afraid of failing. Trust me, I know how paralyzing that can feel. We've all been there, and it's usually scarier in theory than it is in reality, especially when you consider the alternative of not making a move. The next 10 years are going to come and go whether you make changes or not. So ask yourself, what will my life look like in 10 years if I don't change anything? It takes guts to break away from the herd, and you're going to be glad you did, because I think you're actually going to be relieved by what Robert teaches you today. These are not the ridiculous get-rich tactics you see so many so-called experts pressuring people to try. This isn't some overly complicated Wall Street investment strategy that you need a Harvard MBA in order to implement. And best of all, you don't need to already have a ton of money set aside to invest in order to get started. Today, Robert's going to show you what the rich are really doing with their money in order to build massive wealth. The hidden danger of banking your retirement or financial future on typical strategies like 401ks, mutual funds, and savings accounts. Why you don't need money in order to start acquiring assets today. That's possibly the biggest misconception about investing, and it keeps so many people sitting on the sidelines instead of pursuing their dreams. So we're going to get you past that. And finally, how to get started growing your wealth without risking what you already have. Even if you have a full-time job, we're going to give you what you need right now to start exiting the rat race once and for all. I see we already have some questions coming in on how to get financing for acquiring cash flowing property. The team will get that together and make sure we have a link for you before we end here today. So we're going to dive right in a second. But Robert, for those on the strategy session who don't know you as well as I do, or how you got started, why don't you give us a little bit of background to kick things off?
Sure. My earliest recollections about money is when I was about 7 years old, growing up in Hawaii. I came up one morning and I found my mother crying. And the reason she was crying was because we didn't have any money. My dad was in graduate school going for his PhD. And, he wasn't making much money, and we had 4 kids. And I just 7 years old, I couldn't understand why Mom would be crying about money. And then I got kind of angry at my dad. I said, how can my dad just let Mom sit here and cry? And I think that's really kind of the reason I decided I wanted to be a rich man versus somebody like a school teacher who had no money. It didn't make sense to me. As a kid, it didn't compute. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to do it. My father lost his job at 50, and it was devastating to the family. I don't know if I've ever been fired as an adult, but it is devastating. I think my mother died right after that. Literally. She had a heart attack and died within 2 or 3 months of my dad being fired because they didn't have any money. And even then, even after all that, my poor dad kept saying, well, I'm not interested in money. Well, how in the world can you not be interested in money? So that's kind of why the Rich Dad Company was formed. That's why Kim and I speak about money, because we learned how important money is for our family.
Wow, Robert, that must have been hard. Some of you in the audience might also be in a frustrating or challenging financial situation. Robert, what kind of advice would you give these folks? What kind of action did you take? And How did it turn around for you?
So that's why I would say understand and invest in your brain, your education, your experience, and after a while this stuff becomes easy. And so that's really the power of entrepreneurship, a little financial education. Rich had always talked about this. He says only lazy people use their own money.
You know, Robert, that is so true. And I can see that some people are already asking questions about whether there's a way to work with you directly on putting together their own plan for building wealth. Don't worry, there will be an opportunity to step up after we hear from Robert. We'll get to that. But for now, you're about to gain access to some of the most relevant and meaningful wealth-building education available. You'll see just how simple it can be to become wealthy if you know what to do and how to do it. Our goal is to help you get there easier and faster. Here's how our time together will work. We're going to get started, and I'll be handing it over to Robert. There will be an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. All right, that's enough introduction. Let's get started. Like I said, Robert's going to show you the 3 cash flow boosting secrets for achieving financial freedom and exiting the rat race for good. Secret number 1 is how to think like the rich so you can finally eliminate the feeling that you can never get ahead and tap into the same wealth-building principles the rich use over and over again to stay out of the rat race. Secret number 2 is the truth about saving your money. You're going to learn why saving money, cutting up your credit cards, and avoiding debt are actually the wrong things to be doing if you want to build real wealth, and what you should be doing instead if you want to build wealth. And secret number 3, it's the foundation of financial intelligence. This is so exciting because understanding this alone is going to put you so far ahead of 95% of the population. It's going to save you from the incredibly costly financial mistakes that keep so many people stuck in place. You're going to learn how to minimize your liabilities and acquire assets that are actually working for you and building your net worth. So let's dive into the first secret here. Number 1, how to think like the rich. Are you going to have a rich mindset or a poor mindset? Now, Robert, most people would think that it's a lack of money that leads to failure. I mean, you have to spend money to make money, right? But you've always taught the real difference for the rich isn't the resources they have, but it's the thought process they have for money. This is what's very different from what most people are taught. Isn't that right, Robert?
Yes. You see, it was in 1997 that Rich Dad, Poor Dad first came up, and I said some things in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that was, you don't know what you're talking about. But since then, most of what I said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad has come true. Number 1, I said your house is not an asset. And as you know, in 2005 and 2007, the housing market crashed. I also said that savers were losers. And as the housing market crashed, interest rates came down. So people are saving money today and they're losing. Why would you save money when the federal government and the central banks and Wall Street are printing money? So Rich Dad, Poor Dad is 20 years old today, but it's more appropriate today. So let me tell you what's different about Rich Dad, Poor Dad in case you don't know. Number 1, there's a lot of poor people. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad was not written for poor people. Nothing wrong with them and all that. You want to be poor, it's up to you. I didn't want to be poor, okay? And number 2, there's the middle class. There's a lot of them. But as you know today, 20 years later, the middle class is being hollowed out. There's no such thing as job security. Pay raises haven't gone up for the middle class. Technology is replacing people like driverless cars, artificial intelligence, and globalization. Jobs are moving overseas. So to be middle class today, it's very, very dangerous. So what makes Rich Dad different is we focus here. And if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad 20 years ago, nothing's changed. As you know, my poor dad was a PhD in education. But what does school teach you about money? Did you learn anything about money at school? Most people don't. So that's why I had my rich dad, who was my best friend's father, and he was teaching me what the rich teach me. So look, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be poor, I hate to say this, you can go to school, but you still won't learn anything about money. And education is more important today, but what do you learn about money? Most kids now going to school, they're coming out of school deeply in debt with student loans, still not learning anything about money. Look at the middle class. You know, they may have high-paying jobs, but the jobs are going away. And what makes Rich Dad different is we teach what the rich teach people. Make a decision where you want to be. If you're poor, and nothing wrong with being poor, because I've been poor once or twice, is your teacher, if you're poor, is Susie Orman. She's a great person. She'll tell you to cut up your credit cards and live below your means. For poor people, great financial advice. I personally don't like living below my means, and I love my credit cards. And if you're middle class, that's Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey's a good friend of mine, and he always says, live debt-free. That's not what I do. I love debt. See, if you're going to be rich, you have to learn how to use debt as money. So there's Dave Ramsey in here. There's also Tony Robbins, is very, very middle class. He talks about buying ETFs. So if you like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, saving money, that's not Rich Dad. What Rich Dad teaches people are people who want to be rich. I don't cut up my credit cards, I don't save money, and I don't invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, and I don't invest for the long term. We do everything different. If you want to learn what the rich are doing, that's us. You want to be middle class? There's Dave Ramsey and Tony Robbins. Great teachers, fantastic people. And if you're poor and struggling and deeply in debt, that's Susie Orman. They're great teachers. Decide where you want to be. There's financial education for poor people, middle class people, and we're for the rich. Even if you're not rich, if you're here, you want to come here, that's what Rich Dad is for. Today, lots has changed. Rich Dad is more appropriate today, 20 years later, is because this comes from our second book, which is the cash flow quadrant. And the cash flow quadrant is about the 4 people that make up the world of business. E stands for employees. S stands for self-employed, small business guys, doctors, lawyers, and specialists. You know, they're self-employed. They work by themselves. And B stands for big business, 500 employees or more. And I stands for professional investor. These guys are passive investors. They invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and save money. These guys are entrepreneurs. They're like the people on Shark Tank, you know, Mark Cuban and those guys. So these are professional investors. These guys are passive investors. So people who buy ETFs, mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs, they're on this side. Okay. So very simply, this was my poor dad, and he always said, go to school, get a job. And my rich dad said, come over here and be a professional investor. So today I'm over here. Look, let me tell you one of the reasons the rich are getting richer or the poor are getting poor is very simply because it goes to taxes. Who pays the highest taxes? Well, all over the world, not just the US, these people pay approximately 40% in tax. Why would you go to school to pay 40% in tax? Doesn't make sense. You know, shouldn't financial education teach you how to pay less tax? And if you're a self-employed or a small entrepreneur or a doctor or a lawyer, you pay the highest taxes of all, 60%. So many people today are quitting their jobs and becoming entrepreneurs here only to pay more taxes. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. But if that's what you like, you know, stay here. These people over here, these are like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. They pay 20% in tax. They have over 500 employees. This is where I'm at today. And in the rich dad world, 0% taxes, legally. So this is what real financial education is about. You see, on this side, you don't need financial education. Just go to school, and you don't learn anything about money. You work hard, you pay higher taxes. You need financial education to make it here. You're happy staying here? That's your choice. Again, this is Tony Robbins, Dave Ramsey, and Susie Orman. This is where you're at. Buy mutual funds, ETFs, and those things. Over here is where the rich are at. So Rich Dad teaches this side of it. And you must have financial education over here. You don't need it over here, but you must have it over here. So what makes Rich Dad different is we teach people to move to this side. This is the good news. You can keep your job and still move here. You can be in two places. And you can be self-employed or a small business or a doctor or a lawyer, and you can still come here or here. So that's the difference between rich dad and the poor and middle class, is that because it takes financial education to move to this side. What makes the rich dad company different, and what makes our type of financial education very, very different? Once again, you don't need financial education here. Just be a good, hard-working person, pay a lot of taxes. On this side, you must have financial education. Today, if you're an employee, you're in trouble. Face it, you'll pay more tax. Financial education, real financial education, should include education about how debt makes the rich richer, because you don't need money then, if I can borrow money, and taxes. The more money I borrow, the less tax I pay. It's really opposite.
You know what? That's a great point. They don't teach these real wealth-building principles in school. The teachers were never even taught these principles. So how could they?
Amen.
Robert, people are so desperately trying to get free from the grind of trading their time for money, and they never seem to get ahead. They really only have two choices. They either play the game that is designed to crush them, or they play the game that's designed for only the rich to win. They just need to know the rules. But these two games have totally different outcomes and rules. So they do need to decide. Am I right?
I'm not saying one is right or wrong, you know. I don't want to be poor. I mean, I want to be rich. So, yeah, I'd rather be rich. I don't really want a job. I don't want Social Security. I don't want Medicare. I don't want the government to take care of me. Now, if you do, fine. That's not my choice. You know, most of my friends are counting on Social Security. They have a government pension, and they have got savings. That's obsolete thinking.
Absolutely. Now, for everyone listening, I want to start connecting some of what Robert is talking about with actual results, so you can see what it looks like when you start thinking like the rich. For example, recently, one of our clients who thought owning a multifamily property was only for people with lots of money was actually able to get a 6-unit property using none of his money, just by implementing one of your strategies. We helped him find the property and run the numbers. Now, the property had been on the market for 2 years without a sale, and the listing agreement with the real estate agent was about to expire. The seller was becoming really motivated and wanted to try his luck with another agent. Now, after 2 years, the agent wasn't going to lose the work she had put into marketing the property and end up with zero commission. So we helped negotiate with both. The seller agreed to carry the mortgage with 7% down, and then the agent agreed to lend her commission to cover the 7% down on a 3-year note. The profits from the property covered the repayment to the agent. It was a win-win-win. The seller sold his property, the agent collected her commission, plus interest, and the client bought a good cash-flowing property with none of his own money. So the question you're probably asking right now is, how can someone who is currently in the E quadrant move over to the right side? Is it even possible if you're working a full-time job? The answer is yes, you absolutely can, if you know what to do. But most people get tripped up right here. They fall into the trap of saving their money instead of leveraging it. And that's where the second secret for achieving financial freedom comes in: the truth about saving your money. Robert, I want to read something to you wrote in your book, The Real Book of Real Estate. You said, "In my years of teaching people how to build wealth by investing in real estate, probably the most common objection I hear is this: but I don't have any money to get started." That one common misconception has kept so many people sitting on the sidelines rather than pursuing their dreams. People think they need to save up a ton of money to get started, and that's just not true. Can you tell us a little more about what you meant by that?
Sure. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was written for the rich, not for the poor middle class. Now, you can be poor middle class, but you need financial education to become rich. And why the rich are getting richer is about real financial education, namely debt and taxes. A person like me uses debt and taxes to get rich. I don't save money. Which brings up to my point here, why savers are losers. See, Dave Ramsey says get out of debt, which is smart if you have no financial education. But if you want to get really rich, you must learn how to use debt. But one of the reason the rich are getting richer is because they're not savers. They use debt to get rich. So let me give you an example why savers are losers. Is after 1971, President Nixon took the US dollar off the gold standard and he could print money. Now, why would you save money when the governments of the world, the banks and all that, are printing money? It makes no sense. And after the stock market crashed in 2008, the US government really started printing money, but so did the rest of the world. So savers are the biggest losers. Back around 1970, if I had $1 million, I got 15% interest. Okay? Look at it today, I'm lucky to get 2% interest. So why would you save money when the government's printing money? Look at what's happening to the interest rates being paid to savers. And the governments are still printing money. So one of the worst things that's happening is that if you're poor, they're telling you to save money, and you're only going to get poorer. And if you're middle class, look at this. They're trying to save money in their stock market. Look at the stock market is an all-time high. Look at the crash of 1929. That was a giant crash. This next crash is going to be huge. So all the savers and their 401ks and mutual funds, possibly, hopefully not, will get wiped out. Why save? Learn to invest. So this is why savers are losers. And it went all the way back to 1971 when President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard and the United States started to print money. And that's why savers are losers.
That makes so much sense, Robert. Saving money has never gotten anyone out of the rat race. We need to leverage money, our money, and more importantly, other people's money, so it can work for us. And one of the things I want to point out about real estate specifically is that it's the only kind of investment that allows you to do three things. Number one, you can start generating serious cash flow immediately after investing. Number two, at the same time, you're instantly building long-term equity, which you can count on for retirement and continuous wealth building. And number three, you can get started with little or no money or credit. Think about it this way. If you wanted to buy $100,000 of stock in Apple, it's going to cost you $100,000. If you want to buy a property for $100,000, you can do that for just a few thousand. And you can get positive cash flow out of it from the get-go. For example, here's a client of ours who had a little bit of money, and instead of putting it into the market where it can get wiped out or letting it waste away in a savings account, we helped her find this property. It rents for $1,650 a month, and this client only put $8,000 down, and the seller financed the balance. So now they have a piece of real estate that has $600 worth of positive cash flow every month after expenses. That's $7,200 per year of cash flow in their pocket, and that's just one property. When you consider their $8,000 investment is returning $7,200 per year, their return on investment is 90%. Whether the markets fluctuate or not, they have an asset that produces significant positive monthly cash flow every month. Now that's leverage. Or you could put your money in the bank and earn next to nothing in interest, while taxes and inflation eat away at it. Which would you rather do? Robert, this goes back to what you've always said. There are really only two ways to go about it. Some people save their money, invest in a retirement account, and then around age 65 or 70, they retire from their job and they try to figure out how to live on less than they had when they were working. And this, while inflation and taxes give them less and less spending power every year. Or other people who are sick and tired of never getting ahead apply what you teach and do what your rich dad taught you. They change their mindset. They learn how money really works, and they put it to work to make money for themselves. They acquire assets that give them recurring passive income no matter where they are or what they're doing, so they can spend their time doing what they want, with the people they want to do it with, where they want to do it. Basically, they're free from the rat race. Robert, one of the things I learned from you is lack of money isn't the problem. Knowledge is. It's really simple to become wealthy, but you need a proven plan and then you need to take action. You need real financial education. And I know your third secret is going to help with that, because it's a game changer when people actually understand it and apply it. It's what you call the foundation of financial intelligence.
For example, again, I don't say to save money, but if you want to, you can. I don't say invest for the long term in the stock market. If you want to, you can. That's not what we do. And I definitely don't like cutting up my credit cards because I love my credit cards. But I think I want to talk about something called fear. We all have fear. And if you have no financial education, because our schools, even like my poor dad with a PhD, he had no financial education. So naturally he was afraid. You know, if you look at a baby learning to walk, a baby, stands up and falls down. Baby makes a mistake, cries, stands up, falls down. Cries, stands up, falls down. But you go to school, they punish you. Oh, you made a mistake. You're stupid. And that's why so many people leave school highly educated, like my poor dad with a PhD, but they're so afraid. They're so afraid of making mistakes and losing money and all that. And so they just blindly turn their money over to the government in taxes, or they give them money to Wall Street to invest for the long term for them, or they go to the bank and they save the money for them. The price of fear is very, very high, and it's understandable because I have the same fear everybody else does. The difference is you need to learn to make mistakes, fall down, and learn again. Learn, run, so that's how you learn. You don't learn by not making mistakes. So this was the core of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this is a very simple, childish example of a financial statement. This is the basis of financial literacy. And this here is income. This is expense. This is asset. And this is liability. Very simple, okay? So for those who read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know that what assets do is they put money in your pocket. And a liability like your house takes money from your pocket. It's that simple. So one of the reasons the rich are getting richer is the rich work for assets and the poor middle class work for liability, houses, cars, college education, credit cards and stuff like that. Another point of difference in the financial statement here, this is my poor dad, and he wanted me to get a high-paying job. And this is my rich dad here, and he says, learn to acquire assets. So the reason I'm a rich man is I had a lot of assets. It's not that I've lost, not me, I've made mistakes and things like this, but I knew my job was to acquire assets. But this is the basis of financial literacy or financial intelligence. It's a financial statement. Another thing my dad taught me was, this is what your banker wants to see. When you go to the banker and you say, I want to borrow some money, they want to see a financial statement. 95% of all people leaving school have no idea what a financial statement is. That's why they're so afraid. That's why they go to the bank and they shake, well, the bank turns me down. And banks have turned me down too. But this here is the basis of financial literacy, financial intelligence. And this is the Rich Dad Company, okay? What other people are saying all the time, the reason they're getting poor, you go to school, you get a job, first thing that happens, taxes. People who have job, taxes go out, and this goes to our government. And you know, they spend our money wisely, right? And then you buy a house or a car, and you call it an asset when it's really a liability. So the money flows out this way through debt, bad debt, to the bank. So your banker loves it for people who are not financially educated. They love giving you credit cards. Nothing wrong with the credit cards, you just don't know how to use them. And then if you're going to invest for the long term and for your retirement plan or something like this money goes here in the form of investments, and this money goes to Wall Street. So one of the reasons the rich are getting richer and the poor middle class are not is because without financial education, because of fear of making mistakes, the fear of being broke, or whatever, then the legitimate fears. Your money is, first of all, going to the government through taxes, going to the banks through bad debt, and number 4 is that you're giving your money to Wall Street to invest for you. That's not what the rich do. So to teach people to do this, we have our cash flow game. This game is Monopoly on steroids. It's very similar to Monopoly. I learned a lot about getting rich playing Monopoly from my rich dad. But what makes the cash flow game different is this here. If you learn to understand the financial statement, playing the cash flow game, making your mistakes in a game like playing Monopoly, making your mistakes with playing money, you're not as afraid of making mistakes. And if you're going to live your life in fear and just being poor or middle class, then this is what's going to happen to your money. It's going to be gone anyway. So be smart, you know. Invest sometimes in a cash flow game. There's cash flow clubs all over the world. You can practice. You don't have to cost any money. But you need to invest in your brain, your financial education. There'll always be fear, and you'll always make mistakes because that's real life. But this is what your banker wants to see. This is your report card when you grow up. My rich dad always said, my bankers never once asked me my report card, never asked me my grade point average, never asked me what college I went to. Your banker wants to see this. And 95% of the people leaving school, people like my poor dad with a PhD, they don't have one of these. That's why they're fearful all the time. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to make mistakes like a baby's got to make mistakes before it learns to walk. If you're going to learn to be an investor and make a lot of money, use the cash flow game, make mistakes using playing money. And you'll find your fear going down and your confidence going up. There's no guarantees, but at least you'll know the object of life is to get here, to acquire assets. You know, like in Monopoly, it's 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. My wife and I have a lot of houses, a lot of hotels. We don't have stocks and bonds, but we have oil wells, we have things like, we have businesses. But this is what to make the rich richer is here. And our schools teach us to go to school and get a job. And the moment you do that, taxes go to the government, debt goes to the bank, and your investments go to Wall Street. And that's why the rich are getting richer. We'd rather have you not do this, but keep your money here.
So you can't be afraid to make mistakes. Those mistakes you hear about only happen when people don't know what they're doing. When you follow guidance from someone who has already been successful in real estate, which is what you're doing by being on this strategy session, you can avoid virtually all these mistakes. You need to learn how to make money work for you and begin to put real positive cash flowing properties into your asset column.
Right.
So Robert, I just want to pause for a second and tell everyone in attendance right now, just by harnessing these 3 secrets and beginning to make changes in your financial habits and mindset, you'll already put yourself on a trajectory to experience massive growth in your personal wealth.
Yes.
Robert and I both have complete confidence in your ability to do this because you know what? Amateurs don't seek out financial education. Professionals do. And by showing up here today to seek out this education, you've shown you're ready to become a pro at this. You've already seen how simple it is if you just follow the path of those who have already done what you're trying to do. So you can take what you've learned here today and end up miles ahead of what most people achieve financially in their lifetime. And I certainly hope you do. I took action myself 20 years ago with no experience and no blueprint. I had only read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I knew it was possible. You don't need to waste your time, energy, and hard-earned money the way I did. You can virtually eliminate your risks and finally get out of the rat race in a fraction of the time it took me. 20 years ago, I wish I had what Robert and his team are going to offer you today. An exclusive invitation to secure your financial freedom and exit the rat race by implementing Robert's real estate cash flow blueprint. This first-of-its-kind online training system will walk you through the exact steps to acquire at least 1 cash flow producing property in the next year, and then repeat the process again and again. So, if you're serious about finally getting out of the rat race, If you want a reliable, proven financial education that can make your financial freedom attainable faster than you ever thought possible, if you want to guarantee yourself a raise of at least $6,000 every single year, and if you want to take all of the risky guesswork out of increasing your cash flow, then the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint is specifically for you. In order to fulfill Robert's mission to elevate the financial well-being of humanity, he worked with his team to develop an innovative, step-by-step system that lays out exactly what to do to achieve financial independence with real estate. It's literally a blueprint for building a bridge to financial freedom the Rich Dad way. After you've gone through this step-by-step system, you'll know exactly how to buy your first or your next investment property with positive cash flow, with little or none of your own money guaranteed. The teaching and training material you'll have access to in the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint has already made such a massive difference in so many people's lives. That's because it's the same material Robert and his experts have used for years. They've used it to help people achieve financial freedom the Rich Dad way. Take Lisa, for example. She started like I did. She picked up the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad and had her eyes opened. She had to really work to get her husband on board at first because this was such a big change for them. But they knew they had to do something different because they had such big expenses and no true assets. But now their passive income has surpassed their expenses. Here's what Lisa had to say. We're proud to say we reached our goal of acquiring passive income over expenses in our own personal lives. This was no easy task since we had lots of expenses and no true assets. However, with the knowledge that the Rich Dad team offers, which is massive, a little patience, persistence, and minding our business, we were able to achieve this in a few short years. Lisa R., Tennessee. Wow, I still can't help but get excited when I hear results like that. And the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint is going to make them attainable for you, too. This system comes to you with 7 comprehensive sessions you can access anytime, where Robert's personally trained real estate experts walk you through every profit-making strategy you need to know. They'll show you step-by-step how to achieve real wealth with real estate. Even if you have little or no money, no experience, and you have a full-time job, let me quickly show you what you're going to learn in each module. In module number 1, Think Like the Rich, you'll learn how to leverage not only your own money, but more importantly, other people's money to unlock true wealth. You'll start to think like the rich think and seize opportunities that are right in your backyard, just like the rich do. In module number 2, Taking Control of Your Cash Flow, you'll learn how simple it is to finally take back control of your cash flow and establish your plan, be secure, and live life on your terms. Module number 3 is where you're going to learn how you can do this no matter what your schedule is, whether you have a demanding full-time job or you're an extremely busy parent. It's called Making Time for Success. And by the end, you'll be leveraging your personal time like the rich manage theirs, so you can get the highest returns on the time you do have available. In module number 4, Identifying Your Target Market, we'll give you the tips, tricks, and secrets to locate properties with the most profit potential. So you're not going to have to worry about where to look or how to know if a property has great potential or not. We're going to show you exactly what to look for and what to avoid. Of course, finding the right market and properties is only half the equation. That's why in module number 5, Finding Properties That Cash Flow, we'll show you how to find motivated sellers and maximize your cash flow, so you don't have to waste your time chasing unprofitable deals. After doing this over and over again all over the world, we know the specific traits to look for in a seller in order to get unbelievable value out of your deal. So this really gives you an unfair advantage in every potential deal you find. In module number 6, Showing You the Money, you'll learn how you can acquire almost any deal using creative financing techniques to purchase properties with little or no down payment. And ultimately, in module number 7, Doing Your First Deal, you're going to see step-by-step how to establish connections and negotiate your deals for maximum cash flow. As you watch these sessions, Robert's experts will walk you through everything you need to quickly start acquiring cash flow producing properties. You're also going to have instant access to Robert's step-by-step real estate cash flow curriculum, which includes in-depth exercises and training materials. This will allow you to map out your exact plan of action, so you'll have a completely unique blueprint designed the Rich Dad way for your specific market and your financial situation. So, immediately after you join today, you're going to receive an email from the Rich Dad team giving you instant access to the entire Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint system. Inside our secure, members-only site, you'll have immediate access to the highest quality training material we believe exists on the market today. And you'll also get every update that we implement as time goes on. So you can keep coming back to this again and again to help you acquire even more assets. You're getting the exact system Robert's developed to help people acquire their first property without the fear and pitfalls that hold most would-be investors back. Start generating positive cash flow and passive income within just a few months of getting started. Eliminate the easily avoidable but all too common mistakes that cost amateur investors thousands of dollars and endless stress. Becoming financially free so you can stop worrying and live the life you've always wanted. Maybe that means taking that dream vacation with your family. Or maybe it means eventually walking away from your 9-to-5 job so you can have the flexibility to spend more time with the people that matter most while pursuing your passion. It's all put together for you as if Robert's team of experts were standing right beside you, showing you what to do every step of the way. You can do this if you have no experience, even if you don't have a ton of money or good credit, and even if you feel like you don't have the spare time to get started. It gives you the same strategies we use with Chow here. He found himself unprepared for retirement and feeling concerned that he wouldn't have anything to pass on to his children. But he came to realize that unless he changed his paradigm and his actions, he was in a losing game. So he embraced your teachings, Robert. He got to work. Now he has passive income coming in every month, and he feels confident about his retirement. Here's what Chow said. I feel much better now about my financial stance. We now have a steady stream of passive income coming in every month, and I plan on increasing this amount gradually with time. Chow from Saudi Arabia. Wow. And here's Cody. She was working on a ranch and had always been taught to work hard for money and then save it. She didn't know that she could actually have money work hard for her. Now, she has her first investment property. She says, it's very frustrating for me to be in the rat race, working for people who don't appreciate my hard work and dedication. I always knew there was a more gratifying way to make money, but until now, I didn't know what that was. Cody D., Wyoming. Again, the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint is going to show you how to achieve these same kinds of results. And because you'll have complete access to the training, you can use it to duplicate those results again and again as you acquire more and more assets. Now, I'm guessing the question on everyone's mind at this point is, how much does the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint cost? We believe the financial education this system gives you exceeds virtually any other real estate investing seminar or course you'll find in the market. And there are live in-person investing seminars charging as much as $30,000 for teaching similar kinds of real estate investing techniques. Not only are these seminars expensive, they're inconvenient. You have the added cost of travel, not to mention the time spent away from your family. And then you have to cram into some hotel room and listen to speakers drone on for hours. And if you attend one of these, I hope you're great at taking notes, because you only get to hear the information once. You don't get to come back to it again and again in a convenient online format like Robert's Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint. That's why Robert created the new Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint system, so everyone could afford the professional support they need to finally get out of the rat race once and for all. And the great news is, Robert's newest step-by-step system won't cost you anywhere near $30,000. To make sure everyone can afford the training and education necessary to build wealth and finally get out of the rat race, Robert is making his new Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint system available today only to the first 100 students at an exclusive introductory live stream special price. Now, this offer is only valid during this strategy session, and it's limited to the first 100 students who act right now. To take advantage of the exclusive introductory live stream offer for the first 100 students and get instant access to the entire Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint, simply click the button that says, "Yes, I want in." You'll enter your information into our secure system, and you'll get an email giving you immediate access. Robert is so passionate about helping students who help themselves. He wants to reward your decision to take action and invest in your financial freedom with 3 incredible bonuses, available exclusively to those attending this strategy session. The first bonus, it's called the Personal Real Estate Riches Profile, and it was created by the world-renowned Myers-Briggs. This profile will show you is that it really doesn't matter what kind of personality you have, whether you're introverted, extroverted, feel anxious talking about money, or excited about it. There are proven tactics you can use to feel comfortable and confident in the negotiating process and save yourself thousands of dollars. So that means you're going to get Rich Dad's Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint and the Personal Real Estate Riches Profile, which is already a total value of close to $2,700. Of course, you'll be getting it at a fraction of that. But that's not all you're going to get. Let's talk about bonus number 2. Now, the only thing that can be more paralyzing than the fear of getting started with taking control of your financial future is the legal side of acquiring assets. Can you do it without hiring an expensive lawyer? The second bonus you're getting solves all those issues. It's Robert's Proven Real Estate Contracts and Forms Toolkit. It gives you tested professional contracts and forms you can use with confidence to profit from your first deal. This bonus alone has a value of $495. For people who take action and join today, we have an exclusive third bonus that gives you everything you need to scale beyond your first success and truly maximize your cash flow. The Insider Secrets to Scaling Your Cash Flow and Mastering Real Estate bonus course. In these bonus sessions, Robert's personally trained experts are going to reveal the insider secrets of how to build off your first success and truly scale your wealth in a predictable way. In these 7 bonus sessions, you're going to learn things like the secrets to painless and profitable property management. So many people don't realize you don't have to turn into a handyman or maintenance engineer to own properties if you learn to do it the Rich Dad way, which is exactly what we'll show you. You're also going to learn how to build your own personal team of advisors. We'll show you how to surround yourself with specialists so you can continue growing your wealth even faster and with even more time and freedom in your schedule. You'll also discover the secrets to skyrocketing cash flow with foreclosures and fixer-uppers. Robert's experts walk you through the exact process for finding and acquiring distressed properties for maximum profit. And best of all, we'll show you how to leverage the simple real estate tax advantages the rich have known about for decades. After all, Robert doesn't pay taxes. Why should you? Honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what these sessions will cover. And if you're an action taker, we're going to reward you with this third bonus worth nearly $2,000. It's everything you need to fill your asset column with income-producing properties. To recap, that means you get the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint, the Personal Real Estate Riches Profile created with Myers-Briggs, Robert's Proven Real Estate Contracts and Forms Toolkit, and the Insider Secrets to Scaling Your Cash Flow and Mastering Real Estate bonus course. Sold separately, this would easily have a value of over $5,000, but you'll get them for a fraction of that. This is the only time we've ever offered this kind of training and this much value at this exclusive bargain price. And it's only available right here on this strategy session to the first 100 students. After we finish the Q&A with Robert, this opportunity will disappear and we may never ever offer it again at this price. So I want you to imagine for a moment, if all this did was finally give you the nudge you need to finally get out of the rat race and start making significant progress toward getting financial freedom, would it be worth it? Or what if it gave you the flexibility to start setting your own schedule so you can spend more time with the people who matter most to you? How would it feel to take that day off just because you feel like it? Would that be worth it? Or How about simply having peace of mind that your family's financial future is secure? What would it be worth to never have to worry about what things might look like 5 or 10 years from now because of the decision you make today? It would absolutely be worth it, right? Now, I know when we talk in those terms, it can almost sound like a dream, like something that's always going to be beyond your reach. But let's do some quick back-of-the-napkin math right here so you can see just how attainable your dreams really are when you start building wealth with cash flow producing real estate. So if all this program did was show you how to get just one property that gave your family an extra $500 of cash flow per month, that would add up to an extra $6,000 every year. That would be great, right? When's the last time you got a $6,000 raise? But even more importantly, you'd know exactly how to do it again and again and finally get out of the rat race. Think about this for a minute. What could it do for your life if you didn't stop with just one property? Imagine if you continued to simply repeat the process and bought just one additional property per year that each generated $500 per month. That would be $90,000 in additional cash flow over the next 5 years. Plus, the increased equity in those properties while someone else is making the payments for you. And remember, that's from only taking the time to do this once per year. But what if you did a little more? What if you acquired just 3 properties per year? Those numbers would add up fast. You could see over $250,000 of additional cash flow in just 5 years. It might sound crazy, but it shows you what can happen when you implement Robert's proven strategies. And maybe some of you want to take it to another level. Maybe you're targeting 1 property per month. That would be 12 properties per year. I'm not even going to share how much cash flow that would be, but you can guess it's a really big number. Do you see how exciting this is? I hope you feel as excited as I do about these numbers. And don't forget, not only are you creating positive cash flow every month, but you're also controlling potentially millions of dollars in real estate. And other people are paying the mortgages. This makes your small investment in yourself here today a no-brainer. What you have in front of you today is exactly the solution I wish I had when I started back in 1997. Robert's Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint means you don't need to suffer through the expensive trial and error of going it alone. It's going to show you step by step how you can acquire at least 1 positive cash flow producing property in this next year, and then go out and repeat the process over and over, even if you have no cash to invest, poor or no credit, and no experience. All the hard work has been done for you. It can give you lifelong passive income to finally get out of the rat race once and for all. Now, I know many of you are familiar with Robert and Rich Dad. You've read a book or two, and you've seen the real results the Rich Dad Way has achieved for thousands and thousands of investors all over the world. But I know for some of you, this is our first time meeting and getting to know one another. Maybe you're much newer to Rich Dad. And while Robert and I hope we've given you incredible value by taking you deeper into the secrets of gaining financial freedom today, we want to make sure this decision to invest in your financial future is as easy as possible. We want to give you what is truly a risk-free investment for making the bold decision to take control of your life right now. That's why Robert's backing this program with a 30-day money-back guarantee. We're so confident this is going to help you start generating passive income quickly. We're going to remove all the risk. So if you decide for any reason this isn't for you, just let the Rich Dad team know in the first 30 days, and you'll receive a full refund with no hassle and no questions asked. This gives you plenty of time to jump into the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint and see just how game-changing it can be for your income and your lifestyle. That's how confident we are that this will have a profound impact on your life. Also, for those of you who are excited to dive into the training, but maybe you're a little hesitant or afraid of getting stuck, we want to make this as simple as possible for you. That's why we're making a special option available today only to the first 100 students worth $2,000 that will give you live comprehensive sessions where Robert's personally trained real estate experts walk you through every profit-making strategy you need to know. That means if you have a question, you can get a personal answer from one of Robert's experts. And remember, these are experienced real estate investors. Just click Yes, I Want In to learn more. Now, if there's one thing I know from experience, if you want to be your own boss, if you really want to get out of the rat race, you have to take action. You have to make a choice. You can choose to do nothing, continue on your current path, and hope for the best. Or you can make the choice that separates amateurs from professionals. You can choose to follow a proven system made by a team invested in your success. You can learn step by step exactly what to do from successful investors who have accomplished the things you want to accomplish. So here's your chance. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. If you're in, simply click the button and get started risk-free. With Robert's proven real estate cash flow blueprint system, you get everything you need to finally get out of the rat race. Anyone can become a rich dad success story, no matter their current situation. Do you want to be the next success story? If you're really serious and ready to take the next step to achieve true financial independence, there's never been a better, more convenient, simpler way to do it. This how-to training will literally walk you through, step by step, exactly how to acquire positive cash flowing property using Robert's proven wealth building methods. But if you really want this, you have to step up right now. Imagine for a moment how your life would improve with just an extra $500 or $1,000 per month for the rest of your life. If all this system did was get you 1 or 2 real estate investments, that's exactly what you'd get. Not to mention the long-term equity and tax savings you'd accumulate. That alone would be worth the modest investment today, wouldn't it? The program pricing and bonuses Robert and his team have assembled are not available to the general public, and they may never be offered again at this low event price. The bonuses and special event pricing are going to disappear after we end our time here together today. If you really want to achieve financial freedom for yourself that you don't have today, I urge you not to hesitate another second and risk missing out on this amazing opportunity. So Robert is standing by for Q&A, but before we get into the questions, let me recap what your opportunity is today. Instant access to Robert's cutting-edge real estate cash flow blueprint system, plus bonus number 1, the personal real estate riches profile backed by world-renowned Myers-Briggs. Bonus number 2, Robert's proven real estate contracts and forms toolkit. Bonus number 3, the insider secrets to scaling your cash flow and mastering real estate bonus course. A total value of over $5,000, which you can get today if you're one of the first 100 students for an exclusive introductory live stream special price. Just click Yes, I Want In to learn more. Robert is so confident in this program that he's backed it with his 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, he'll refund the entire purchase price of your program. Okay, now remember, this special offer is only good until the end of this strategy session today, and it looks like we're nearing the end of our scheduled time together. So, as we begin the question and answer session, let's start a timer for 15 minutes. And once the time runs out, this opportunity will expire. Again, to get instant access to the entire real estate cash flow blueprint and all of the free bonuses, simply click the button that says, Yes, I Want In.
So the point here is this, is that Rich Dad is a financial education company. We recommend you take courses. Hire somebody to take you through it. Hold your hand. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a smart thing to do because it's your money. And losing your money goes a lot faster than making your money. With me, I started in real estate back in 1973. I came back from Vietnam, and I went to my Rich Dad, and my Rich Dad always said, invest in real estate.
Okay, we have a lot of people on the session right now, and because we have a lot of crossover in the questions, Robert's team has lumped them together so we can get through as many as possible. But we're limited on time, so let's get going. Okay, the first question, looks like several of you have asked some version of this one. Shouldn't I use the money I have to put toward an investment instead of buying this course? That's a good question, and the answer is yes, you can. but why haven't you done it yet? Do you know what to do? And what are your chances of making a big mistake if you don't have help? Now that sounds expensive.
Invest in financial education like I did a real estate course, made me millions. Have somebody to guide you along, somebody who's been there to hold your hands. Then practice.
All right, next we have, can I really do this? I'm lacking the confidence to really get started. Listen, I understand because I've been there, and we're here to help you. Robert's personally trained team of experienced real estate investors will help you get from where you are today to where you want to be. And it's guaranteed to work or your money back.
A little financial education. Somebody to hold your hand is crucial, especially when being an entrepreneur in business or real estate.
Here's a good question. Should I try this on my own, following along with the books?
9 out of 10 small businesses fail. Most real estate deals are bad. So why would you not hire somebody that's going to guide you through it? Why would you take that big a risk? I don't.
Unfortunately, Robert's exclusive personally trained team of expert real estate investors can't help everyone watching right now. There